Hello, I'm here to finally answer your questions, so without further ado, the first question is from the questioner 132. They ask, or they say, I'm a bit confused on your position on contextual nihilism. Now, I looked this up to refresh my memory, and assuming I have this correctly, contextual nihilism is believing that there is no firm foundation for philosophy in general. Any kind of knowledge has no firm foundation, whether it be moral knowledge or other types of knowledge. But still we have something to work with. We have the evidence from our senses, and we're constantly reevaluating things, and we come to our conclusions based on context. And, so I believe that there's some truth to be discovered and to be expressed, and that is the truth that exists in the context, but ultimately I see no firm foundation for any of it. So contextual nihilism, it rings true for me. Next question is, Timothy Bragan asks, what is love? I think part of love is a choice. Like, we choose to feel this way, we choose to share these feelings, this energy. But at the same time, part of love is actually sharing a common goal. And when you don't share a common goal with someone, sometimes the conflict that arises is too much, and no amount of positive thinking can overcome certain situations. Next question. Do you derive your anarchist values from valuing utilitarianism, the non-aggression principle, a mixture of both, or some other value? I consider myself a utilitarian. That's a big part of it. I don't have any firm values that are set in stone like the non-aggression principle. I've heard of several different variations on the non-aggression principle, and I think the non-aggression principle, or NAP for short, because saying non-aggression principle a million times gets tiring, but I think it is a great principle, and it works for many things, and it's a great rule of thumb, and I can see it being perfectly fine for many social contracts, but I don't think the non-aggression principle is the be-all, end-all. Next question, from $20 Bitch. How do you feel about having sex with men? I have negative feelings towards having sex with men. How do you feel about having sex with women? I have positive feelings towards the idea of having sex with women. Next question, by Getting Hit on the Ban. What philosophy produces the best art? If you're more of a relativist on art, then what philosophy fancies your aesthetic interest in terms of art the most? I like a mixture of many different elements, but, without over-cluttering the piece or making it too confusing or convoluted. So it's hard to say exactly what philosophy I think serves my aesthetic values the most. I like Tim Burton. I like Fantasia. Yeah, that's right. People who have noticed my Fantasia poster and commented on it, I am that cool that I have a Fantasia poster in my room. Question number next, from Junior Bacon Chi. Okay, I've got a few for you. Do you think that awareness can ever be understood or explained? Or are we in an awkward position of confronting it at every waking moment but never understanding it? What do you think this means for life and reality? I'm tempted to say that we can never truly understand it because you're perceiving the mechanism for perception. So it's very twisted and circular, but I think that it can be understood to a very large degree. You can track chemicals and electrical impulses in the brain, and, you can't have perfect knowledge, of course, but I don't think you can really have perfect knowledge in anything, so I don't know, I could go both ways, I guess. I think that it's theoretically possible to understand the brain perfectly, and therefore understand awareness, but it seems very difficult when it's twisted. Next question, from the same person. What do you see happening in the next 5 to 10 years? Are we doomed to live under states forever, or do you think the potential emergence of digital money and other technologies will set us free? I think the expansion of the internet and other forms of digital power are slowly making the state and intellectual control over the population impossible and obsolete. They're just going away. Whether or not that's going to happen in 5 to 10 years, I don't know. Probably not. It's a matter of time. From Greylight18, are you a determinist? If so, on what basis? I think that every effect has a cause, so in a sense I am a determinist, but I believe in free will, and I have nothing new to bring to this debate. I'm warning you, my answer is not profound. I mean, I don't know, it's an interesting philosophical problem. Have you ever tried a psychedelic substance? Yes, mushrooms, not acid. Many people who use this drug experience ego death, being one with everything, nature, God. What do you think about that? I think that's definitely true. Next from Len Schur, 82. My question is, who is your favorite political philosopher and why? I think Lysander Spooner is awesome because he had a sense of humor. He was fun. He was brilliant. He was I think he was a 18th or maybe 19th century lawyer in the States and radical political activist. And one of the things he did was he claimed that the federal government in the States, they said that the federal government should provide a postal service, but they never said in the Constitution that there can be no competition. They never said it's government monopoly that must be protected with violence. And so Lysander Spooner tried to create a competing postal service. And he did things like that, like he tried to challenge illegitimate authority in a more passive way. He wasn't all violent and crazy. He was a brilliant lawyer and political philosopher. And he also wrote something called the Constitution of No Authority, which is basically rewriting the Constitution, but instead of simply being against the British government, because, for some reason we hate the British, it's actually against all authoritarian governments that are going to impose their will across a large geographical area, regardless of consent. And he was also appropriately critical of Abraham Lincoln, which I think is sweet. So I'm going to go with Lysander Spooner. That answer will probably change from time to time. I don't always have a favorite political philosopher, but right now I'm on a Lysander Spooner high.